It's the first Monday of 2020, and we're starting things off with some insanely juicy, sizzling rumors about a new Nintendo Switch model coming mid-2020. If you just got comfortable with a two-pronged approach of Switch and Switch Lite, you may have to make some mental modifications, because according to Digitimes, Nintendo is reportedly planning to release in mid-2020 a new model of Switch. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Hope you guys are having a great start to your new year. Hopefully those resolutions are still intact 6 days in. Takashi Mochizuki, who is a tech reporter for the Wall Street Journal, tweeted out this morning that he reported in 2019 Nintendo has ideas for further updates to the Switch lineup after those two models to make the platform's life cycle long. And we've heard this for a while, that Nintendo really wants to iterate upon the Switch and create this Switch ecosystem where the central idea of Switch kind of lasts for as long as they can make it go. Obviously, we've seen Microsoft and Sony introduce some half-step consoles with their Xbox One X and their PlayStation 4 Pro. Nintendo getting in on it a bit, but in their own style with the Switch Lite. We're all waiting with bated breath for a Switch Pro. Will Nintendo come out with something to compete with the more powerful PS5 and Xbox Series X, or will they sit this year out and just stand pat with the platforms they have? Well, it looks like they may be making moves. We're going to get into all the details, my thoughts, and then I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoy the video, and let me know what you think about another new Switch and what this Switch could be. So to continue on from Mochizuki's tweet, he talks about his report from August of last year and then references Digitimes' report from today, where they say that Nintendo is gearing up for major production at the end of the first quarter for a mid-2020 launch of a new model of Switch. Now, the article itself requires a subscription, but within the article you'll see that they claim the new Switch will have a magnesium alloy body instead of a plastic body. They claim it will come with a better CPU. And I also have to let you know that Digitimes has a little bit of up and down track record with Nintendo. They've been spot on and they've been off the mark. So of course you have to take this with a grain of salt, but it is coming amongst a lot of buzz about a new Switch. And we're going to tap into an earlier prediction that comes from Dr. Serkan Toto. Now, he is an industry analyst, and in his 2020 predictions, he said that there's absolutely no doubt a 4K Switch Pro is coming in 2020. So now all of this is kind of tying together. You've got Digitimes saying, hey, they're going into production. You've got a Wall Street tech reporter commenting on it and saying, hey, in August, I predicted that they would continue to iterate and continue to make new models. And you have this Dr. Serkan Toto industry prediction about a 4K Switch that has better beefed up hardware, bigger cartridges, freaking $399 price tag, better components, and will launch ahead of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Now, of course, we don't know what Nintendo's going to do. Right now, we know they have a couple of ports, and they have Animal Crossing New Horizons, and we don't know much else. I'm anticipating a January Direct anytime now. It could literally come as I'm recording this video, or it could come in a couple of weeks, but we got to know more of their lineup. But I do think that maybe they are going to continue on the path of iteration and on making Switch feel new again. I think it's something that they're very concerned about, is making sure that Switch never dips out of the spotlight. And the way to do that is to keep it fresh. Now, the Switch Lite is one way to do that, but if you think about it, the Switch Lite is almost a completely different type of step. It's not really a step forward. In fact, some may argue it's a step backward, because it removes half of the Switch's functionality. The Switch Lite, I think, is directly a response to the declining sales of the 3DS and to the Eastern markets where portable gaming is paramount. So I don't know that necessarily the Switch Lite should be viewed as something that is instead or replacing a potential Switch Pro or a new Switch model, because by all accounts, the Switch Lite is more a response to Nintendo's recent handhelds than it is a direct response to the Switch. So if 2019 held a response to handhelds, it would be totally okay for Nintendo to issue a response to their Switch in 2020. The platform has existed and thrived for a while now. It's launched many major franchises, from Mario to Zelda to Smash Bros to Splatoon. What do they got going on? If this year holds Breath of the Wild 2, maybe it is time to release a more powerful Switch and kind of have a second coming, and one that makes sure Nintendo stays in the conversation alongside these brand new next-gen consoles that are going to be pushing insane frame rates, insane resolution, and insane games. Because we know that there's already a substantial discrepancy between the Switch's power and the current consoles. Now, it hasn't limited Nintendo from achieving excellent sales. It's, has done nothing to limit their success with indie developers. It's done nothing to curtail their incredible first-party output. But maybe Nintendo wants a little bit more. Remember, they are under new leadership, and maybe they want to push a bit harder. Now, is it coincidence that Sir Toto's prediction of a new Switch Pro, a 4K model this year, and Digitimes saying, hey, they're entering production at the end of Q1 for a mid-2020 launch? Is that just happenstance? Is that coincidence? Or is there something bigger going on here? I think there is something bigger going on here. I don't know that either of these sources are 100% accurate. I don't know that a summer launch is really what's in the cards. But I do think Nintendo could be cooking something, and I think it would be silly for them to not make a major move. Now, the old Nintendo would sit the year out. The old Nintendo would say, hey, we put out a phenomenal lineup in 2019. We put out so many big hitters, so many major franchises. Luigi's Mansion got a new game. Fire Emblem came through big. Mario Maker 2 was something all the fans wanted. And this year we've got Animal Crossing, what people have been asking for forever, plus new fighters for Smash Bros. But maybe Nintendo wants to be different. They were different with the Switch, they found incredible success, and maybe they realize it's time to really level up and step things to the next platform. And I don't mean a full-on Switch 2, but I do mean a Switch Pro. There is a chance that this Switch, new manufactured Switch, it could be accurate and it could totally not be a Switch Pro. That's an option as well. Remember, Nintendo did release a V2 Switch with a little bit better battery life, and so perhaps this is a V3 Switch that enhances the battery even more. Perhaps the V3 Switch that enhances the screen a little bit. Maybe it's a V3 Switch that completely locks out any possibility for piracy. That's something Nintendo is always very concerned about. So you got to kind of decide if you think Nintendo is of their old mindset or of a newer mindset. If you believe they're of an older mindset, I don't think you get a Switch Pro this year. I think if this is to be true, what Digitimes is reporting, I think then it is a small modification, something that will go under the radar and something that will go unnoticed by most consumers, most buyers. But if you believe in a new Nintendo, if you believe that their new executive team is trying to set the company on a different path, and if you look at their past couple of years and say, I think they are behaving maybe not completely differently, but they're making moves that make you think, maybe Nintendo gets it, then I would expect a Switch Pro. Now, to me, the Digitimes report has a lot more weight than Sir Toto because he's just making a prediction, and nobody else on the panel predicted a Switch Pro for this year, so he was kind of the lone wolf. But when you have Digitimes reporting that, hey, this thing is entering production, it's something we need to pay close attention to. And you're getting some big voices to comment on this, and that shows that it does have some either validity or some potential. This isn't just a pipe dream 4chan post or a random Reddit user or some Twitter attention hog trying to make a claim. This is bigger than that. And I think if Nintendo were to release a 4K Switch, remember that it is something that will still play all the same games. It's not a console that is going to advance the generation, it's merely going to better the games that are on the system and that will be coming out for the system. I don't think in any way they will split their audience. So as exciting as a Switch Pro is, remember that it's just an enhancement, it is not the next step. So Breath of the Wild 2 comes out and launches alongside Switch Pro, you can still play it on your OG Switch, on your Switch Lite, on your V2 Switch, any Switch you got. That is the idea here, to create a really consistent ecosystem that appeals to all sorts of players. And if they tapped into the portable market last year, if they tapped into the younger market, if they tapped into the family market with the Switch Lite, maybe it's time to tap into the hardcore market and try to steal some of the shine from Sony and Microsoft before they're able to get out of the gates. I do think if there is a Switch Pro this year, it will come out definitely before PS5 and Xbox Series X. If you expect those consoles to launch in November, right before the holiday season, maybe we see a Switch Pro in September, again similar to Switch Lite, and it would kind of line up with Sir Toto, who says it'll be after the summer holidays. And technically it would still kind of fall into mid-2020. That's where I'm gonna lay my belief and my prediction. I think we do get a new Switch this year. I do think it is a beefed up Switch. Whether it's 4K and major modifications or a small uptick, I'm not sure. I think a small uptick is a weird spot. I think a major 4K update is also something completely not in Nintendo's normal wheelhouse, but maybe they'll surprise us. A bigger, better system would make sense. And if Metroid Prime 4 is nowhere near, if the first half of the year is going to be slow, as Emily Rogers has come out and claimed, if it's mostly full of Wii U ports, things like Mario 3D World, Pikmin 3, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, we're going to get Xenoblade Chronicles, and we're going to get Animal Crossing New Horizons. What is going to be their big pitch to gamers in the fall? Especially new ones. If you don't want to buy the OG Switch, if you feel like that's kind of old news, and you're looking to buy a new console, maybe Nintendo does need something on store shelves, and maybe it's the Switch Pro. Let me know your take in the comments down below. I'll be keeping real close eyes on this one. If there's any new news from Digitime, Wall Street Journal, or any of the general Switch predictive populace, I'll have you covered. So make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from this console, and maybe another iteration soon. That would be insane if Nintendo had 3 of them. Although it's not insane when you consider the other platform holders who have a Slim, a Pro. That's common. Microsoft comes out with an all digital. They've got an Xbox One X. They've got an Xbox One S. They've got an Xbox One. So 3 is totally sustainable, and I think Nintendo does it. Until next time, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. A fantastic day. Appreciate all of you. Switch Force out.